From Studio 42 on the SportsBone.tv campus, here's your host for SportsBone.tv,
Welcome to SportsBone.tv. I'm Mike Gratz, and it is Final Cut Friday here. TJ, as usual, will be over in the war room making picks for your weekend games. I will talk to the pizza delivery guy about the NFL, and in 4th and 2, it's the St. Louis Rams this week. But to get this show started, Tori Wolf, she's over in the war room for Take on TW.
It's time for Take on T-Dub.
I never lose 2 weeks in a row, and here's who I'm taking. South Carolina, Miami, Iowa, Penn State, Oklahoma, New England, Tampa Bay, and Jacksonville.
Take on T-Dub.
All right, if you were up for the challenge, then you got your picks in by noon today, and you can challenge Tori Wolf in the war room in our weekly pick'em, Take on TW. But now, I'm gonna give PDG a call. That's right, it's the pizza delivery guy talking NFL with me here in Studio 42. Pizza delivery guy, are you there?
Yeah, pizza delivery guy.
All right, PDG, as always, it's good to talk to you for a couple minutes here about the NFL. I want to talk to you about the Buffalo Bills and their shocking Monday Night Football loss. Do you have any thoughts on the way that game played out?
How do I feel about the Buffalo Bills? Let me tell you how I feel about the Buffalo Bills. I feel sick to my stomach. I feel like I gotta take a class and crap out some Bills because they suck. There's a reason that they haven't had a Monday Night Football game in 13 years because they're terrible.
All right, okay. Well, what about Tony Romo? He put in an awful performance and still comes up with the win. Any thoughts there on Dallas, Tony Romo?
Tony Romo, how do you have 5 interceptions in a game? It's a good team to play the Bills. 5 interceptions. He needs to just get.
All right, how about we talk about Denver for a second and their lack of offensive production? What's going on up there with Mike Shanahan and the Denver Broncos?
Mike Shanahan is the greatest offensive genius in the league, I hear. That's what they tell me. But how do you be an offensive genius and score 3 points in a game and then give up 41? They got too many guys worried about getting stoned after the game, smoking their dope, smoking all that crap, and they suck too.
All right, okay. All right, PDG. Please, hold on for a second. Don't hang up. I know you're always hanging up on me. I never get to put an order in. What other special is going on at the pizza shop today?
Yeah, we got a pretty good special. The main one that everyone's jumping about is 2 large pizzas. Any way you want them, a total and a Coke for $14.99.
I'm sorry, you were a little bit loud there. I didn't hear you. What exactly are the specials there again?
I told you once, I ain't going to tell you again. 2 large pizzas, any way you want them, 1 total and a Coke for $14.99.
All right, well, we're feeding the whole SportsBone.tv campus here, PDG. So give us about 7 of your specials. Bring them on over as quickly as you can.
Hold on a second. Hey, listen, dumbass! To put pepperoni on it! It was supposed to be sausage, you retard! Now I got John Olin back there! All right, I gotta go.
Speaking of TJ and money, he's in the war room right now, ready to make picks for the weekend.
It's your boy!
After posting a winning record in each of the first 4 weeks of the season, we suffered our first letdown here in the War Room last week. Keep in mind that even the smartest Vegas handicapper may have bet on Southern Cal minus 41 points at Stanford last week. With that in mind, let's get back to the basics.
Game 1, South Carolina at North Carolina.
Back to the basics means one thing this week, and that's coaching. All 3 of my favorite coaches are in great spots this week. We'll start with Steve Spurrier traveling to North Carolina to take on the Tar Heels. This battle of the Carolinas is critical for the recruiting war that takes place every year, and I look for my man Steve Spurrier to go big at North Carolina.
SportsBone pick. Gamecocks. Game 2, Southern Cal at Arizona.
Game number 2 has Pete Carroll traveling to Arizona to take on the Wildcats. Many of the teams in the Pac-10 might feel like USC is falling back after last week's loss to Stanford, but make no mistake about it, Pete Carroll means business, and he's going to bring it to the Wildcats this weekend. I look for a 5-touchdown win at Arizona.
Sports Bone pick. Trojans man. Bonus game. Alabama at Mississippi.
And the third best coach in college football is Nick Saban, who takes his Alabama team to Mississippi this weekend in a key SEC matchup. I look for Alabama to rise to the top of the SEC, and this win on the road will help solidify that position.
Sports Bone pick. Alabama. Shut up, Rich. Sports Bone pick. Roll Tide. Game 3. Auburn at Arkansas.
Auburn travels to Arkansas this weekend in another key SEC matchup. I look for running back Darren McFadden from Arkansas to begin his Heisman candidacy this week as we enter the midpoint of the season. No one has stepped up so far for the Heisman, and this could be the first week where he separates himself from the rest of the field.
Sports Bone pick. Razorbacks Game 4. Louisville at Cincinnati.
Louisville heads to Cincinnati this weekend as a 10.5-point underdog. A few short weeks ago, the Cardinals would have been favorites here in this road game, but after suffering a few key losses, are getting 10.5 points on the road. Brian Brom is still one of the top 3 quarterbacks in college football, and I look for the Cardinals to get it together this weekend versus Cincinnati.
Sports Bone pick. Cardinals. Game 5. Oklahoma State at Nebraska.
After suffering a blowout loss last week to Missouri, Nebraska welcomes Oklahoma State to town. I look for Coach Bill Callahan and quarterback Sam Keller to get on the same page in this one as the Cornhuskers roll Oklahoma State.
Sports Bone pick. Cornhuskers.
Sports Bones picks.
So those are TJ's picks for the weekend. Good luck. And now it's time for 4th and 2 here at sportsbone.tv.
4th and 2.
We're going to call out the St. Louis Rams this week. They are off to an 0-5 start. Their defense and offense both ranked 27th in the league. Injuries have played a big part in that. Mark Folger, out for a couple weeks. Steven Jackson, the groin, he's out for a couple more weeks. And Orlando Pace, they lost him for the season. So that means that Gus Frerotte, who did play well last week, putting up 3 touchdowns and 262 yards passing, is going to have to really throw some long bombs and loosen up this Ravens D and allow some running room for Brian Leonard. Last week, he put up over 100 yards rushing. That's going to be a tough feat to repeat. I mean, the Ravens D, they're ranked 2nd in the lead against the rush, allowing only 66 yards per game. But the return of their right guard, Richie Incognito, should help Leonard and Gus Frerotte. So Scott Linehan, it's time to stop talking about all the problems this St. Louis team has and start talking about how to get this team back on track and advance the chains on 4th and 2.
4th and 2.
Well, that's all the time we have left here for Final Cut Friday. Please join us here in Studio 42 for Monday Mayhem next week. Before we hit the road, we're going to Las Vegas. We'll be doing a broadcast from the gambling capital of the world. Until then, I'm Mike Gratz reminding you to block and tackle.